I was getting a lot of the Twitter updates. I wasn't like watching MSNBC or anything, but I was getting on Twitter, and I know this is going to be a weird comparison. In all respect to the judge, I don't mean to put her in this light, but I've been in the audience for Jerry Springer show back when Jerry Springer was in Chicago, and every time she would say something that was so powerful, I just wanted to start chanting her name because I think it was so much validation, John. At the core of it, I think Trump is a child, and I think Trump never was ever disciplined in his entire life. He's gotten away with everything he's ever done before, and in a way, she was scolding him the way that you would scold a child for touching the stove, and that like unlocked something in me. It felt so validating to have her say, um, I don't know what you think this is, but he's a criminal defendant, and I'm not going to treat him any different. I don't care if he's running for president. I don't care about his timeline. This is a serious place, and he's going to have to take this seriously. Telling his lawyers, I don't care if you feel like you have to babysit him. Your client's not going to get out of control. I'm going to control all of this. That felt so validating for me because I don't think nobody's ever scolded him in that way. Granted, I don't think he was there, so, but he definitely got the message at some point. But I just respect her for she's going to face a lot of threats. She's going to get a lot of public backlash, just like anybody who's anti-Trump does, Jack Smith or whoever it is, right? So she's going to have to face all of that, unfortunately. And the fact that she could stand in that and still do her job, that's I think what I find the most amazing thing. But here's what I find extra interesting, John, is I think he's going to face a lot of that in Georgia. I think Georgia's going to be even harsher on him. I think they're on record saying he's going to get a mugshot. He's going to get fingerprinted. We're not treating him any different. Fani Willis is on record saying we're not treating him any different. It feels like he's going to get even more harsher. I wouldn't say harsher. Let me take that back. Just more baseline treatment that everybody else gets. And so I'm looking forward to Georgia. But it was really fun to watch her kind of put Trump in his place, and she was in control, and that was pretty obvious.
Okay, I have to do this. I'm going to put a pin in here, and I'm going to go back to talk Georgia, then we'll go back to what happened in Washington. But I got something that I've not heard people talk about. Currently, Fonnie Willis, I think, has Young Thug on trial, right? Um, and that trial's being televised. I don't know what will ultimately come of Trump. We're hearing now that he could be indicted as early as Tuesday. That we definitely expect an indictment out of Georgia. But the one thing we're going to get out of Georgia, even if we don't get the final trial, and even if it's the ultimately last trial, the one thing that we will most likely get out of Georgia that is going to drive Trump insane is we very well could get a televised arraignment. And now put your producer's hat on. We already talked about he'll get cuffed, he'll get mugshotted, but we will now have, and I want you to now think about it as a TV producer, even though I know you're film, but as a TV producer, a cable news producer, we very well could have B-roll of Trump in front of a judge, Trump in court. And do you realize that if we get that, that it will be used every time they talk about Trump, even whether it's the Alvin Bragg case, whether it's the federal cases? Do you realize that? And no one's talking about this. And I don't know what the rule is. Maybe they don't televise arraignments. But given the fact that we're seeing all the footage of Young Thug, we could essentially have a televised arraignment. And you and I both know images mean everything. And even if there's not a ton of footage, even if we get just 15 minutes, what would that video, if they do that, what would that footage mean in your mind as far as it now gives you something?